everyone, I'm really glad to be back. I hope you have an amazing holiday season. And you were probably asking me, Clara, why are you asking about the holiday season when Christmas is very far? And I asked you this because in Spain, Christmas is longer, as I told you in my previous video. So I've been thinking, and December was a difficult month for me, not only because of the social meetings that I have to do, but family, friends, dinners, and stuff like that, but because I got a really bad flu and I actually wasn't very keen on reading. I prefer to watch TV shows or reading other kind of books that were actually not very plot complicated, so I wasn't sure about what to show you this week. And then I realized I actually had a book that I mentioned in my November wrap-up that I really like, and I want to do a review about it. It's a Spanish book, but I think you will find it very, very interesting. Oops, something fell, but I don't know what it is. So here I bring you Nadie, otro lado by Jordi Sierra I Fabra, which is this beautiful paperback edition edited by SM, which is the incredible publisher company that produced this beautiful book. Look, even the inside of the book is gorgeous with these, I think they're called French flaps. This book, I read it in November and I really like it. This book probably will be translated, literally speaking, nobody on the other side, and it's about a girl called Elena that when she is with her friends, one day she meets this shy but cute guy named Gabriel, and he offers to take her somewhere, and he says that he wants to show her something special. And they actually reach his house, and he confessed his love for her because he's been around town. He's the new guy in town, and he's been looking at her, but he was very shy to introduce himself and things like that. And he also tells her a very strange thing. He tells her that he is actually, I think, a spy, and he knows that the world is about to end, and that he has some kind of a shelter anti-whatever may come, nuclear weapons or earthquake, things like that. So in this shelter they will be protected, and he says that the world is going to end that day in particular, and he has decided to save her. The thing is that he says that, and Elena is like, what are you talking about? But in the same moment there's a sort of an earthquake going on, so he managed to get Elena and introduce her to this kind of anti-nuclear tiny shelter. But the thing is that once the doors are closed, they are actually trapped inside the shelter because of the protection that protection that the doors have. After a huge row, a huge argument or dispute, they check everything with Gabriel's equipment because he has like ultra new and brand new computers, and he says that the earth that is behind the closed doors is actually extinct. Like there's no way they could survive in the like I don't know how to say it. I hate when I get out of words. Is that he states that after looking at the results, they cannot leave if they go out, to the surface. So they are trapped in this place that it's very modern, but even though having a lot of space, it's still tiny for the two of them. So they start knowing each other, and of course at the beginning Elena is very sad and depressed and angry with this guy that he claims to love her, but he has taken her to this unknown place, and basically uh, states that she has to stay with him because of her security and health reasons. So with months they start to stop hating each other, and they get to know each other, and they discover that they have quite similar uh, you know interests and stuff. But there are some things that, even though when they reach a certain point of relationship, there are some things that Elena doesn't actually understand, and this is about the intrigue that happens inside this kind of shelter when love and friendship are mixed up, and there are kind of secrets that they haven't been revealed. This story, I find it very interesting. I love the characters. The main characters are quite opposite, because Elena is very, active and vivid, and Gabriel is very calm, very cold, but also have like a very warm heart, and also he's quite intriguing. He's the kind of mysterious boy, but also I love this kind of scary slash mystery plot about what is going on outside. What are those, high technology items in the house, or why are things not working in the way it should, as Gabriela stated at the beginning. I love that mystery element. I have to say that this story has a lot of, plot twists that um, I actually wasn't prepared for. What I love the most about this story, apart from this kind of mystery plot, very well built up, very well constructed, or very well done using kind of clues that actually don't match, or weird reactions from the characters, and also the love story that is well developed. I feel that what I love the most of Nadie, otro lado is that as a as a background item, you could actually see a critical approach to romantic relationships. So you're reading this story driven by the characters and the plot, and knowing what is going on actually outside. That's great, but you can also see things that actually are not quite right in terms of human relationship. Uh, human relationship, and it's weird. You find it kind of these situations where it's not correct to behave in a certain way. I love how this author, in every book he writes, he always takes a very important topic for the YA, young adult or teenagers lives at that point, and makes it present in the story. Maybe not in a very moralistic way, but in a way that when you finish the story and you close the book and you start thinking about it, you realize that it's much more about about how things are done that shouldn't be done, or certain behaviors are actually very criticized in the books. Here, as I said, related to human relationship and romantic relationship, but I have read other about drug consumption, other about um, relationships with friends. Is really interesting, and I find that this story is able to intrigue you and take you with the characters throughout the whole plot, and then you have this kind of subplot that is actually the main topic to criticize or to explore, that can actually feel throughout the story without interfering in excess with the original plot. I really love it. I think it's a very thin book. It has a kind of uh, intermediate level of Spanish. I find that it's very easy to understand. I don't know if I'm able to show you any kind of sentences, but as you can probably tell, there are short sentences mostly throughout the whole book. But probably if you are Spanish, if you read in Spanish, the thing you may struggle the most with is actually the vocabulary, which is like technological stuff. But I think if you have an intermediate level, you can actually read it. Have you read any book about whatever plot it is that you find that behind that it has a very huge criticism towards a topic very prominent for, it doesn't have to be teenagers, but a very prominent in society nowadays? Can you share it with me? I hope that you give this a chance because it's a very interesting book and it's really fast paced, quite scary sometimes. So for me, the intrigue and the scary parts were the best, because I was like trying to get my head around what was going on in the shelter and outside. But I really I highly recommend you to read this. If not, you could also read something similar that you might find in your language. Share with me those books that you think they have a more important subplot behind the actual plot. Well, this is all for today. I hope you had an amazing week, and I'll see you next week, probably with another review. You know that you can follow me on Twitter, and also on Goodreads and Instagram, and you can follow my Facebook page as well. Also, I will leave down below in the box my Amazon wishlist. Of course, if you are new in this channel and you like this review despite my shyness, you could also subscribe and give me a like. Goodbye.